being here and for really appreciating our backdrop that we have and appreciating the wonderful beauty that we have here in southwestern Connecticut. Fairfield County is known to be some of the most gorgeous shoreline, but a shoreline that we also have to protect as we also do our entire environment. Some people have called Long Island Sound the rainforest for Connecticut, and many of us take that very seriously and take that to heart. So we're just real pleased that we have so many candidates and environmental leaders and others who share in that same vision as well. We're really here today to talk about our Congressman Jim Himes and his really great environmental record in Washington, D.C. Right now in Washington, it's not popular to be an environmentalist with our current Congress, but our Congressman here bucks that trend with so many other of his friends and colleagues because he understands the role of our environment and how that plays in our economy. He's not only for fiscal responsibility, but he's also for environmental responsibility as well, for economic opportunity and environmental opportunity, and they really do go hand in hand. You can create jobs and have a cleaner environment at the same time. So I'm very proud to stand with my friends and colleagues and environmental activists as well to endorse Jim Himes' environmental record and to urge people who care about the environment, who care about a cleaner Long Island Sound, who care about cleaner air, cleaner water, and making sure that their children and grandchildren for generations to come have a cleaner environment and natural resources, to support our great Congressman Jim Himes. So I think he's doing a great job. He's got a great record in so many different ways, and we want to make sure his message of environmental responsibility and opportunity continue to go forward in the next term. So I'm going to turn it over to Diane Lauricella, who is a member of the Sierra Club and who's worked very, very hard in our neck of the woods, in our region here in Norwalk, on environmental justice and environmental responsibility as well, and let her say a few words. Diane?
Just attended a rally of women who were for Jim Himes as well, and it was really impressive. And the thing is that there's a relationship between women, children, and the environment. There are so many chemicals and so many ways that an environment that is not protected can harm our children, our future, and our families. I can think of no other election that is so important as this one. Just don't know how Jim does it, but he does, and he's our strong advocate for all of those important regulations that are necessary in going forward for a strong, healthy, economically healthy environment as well. So I'm really proud to stand here as a former chairperson of the Fairfield County Sierra Club. And I wanted to introduce my former colleague on the state chapter, currently the political action chair and a terrific environmentalist, Marty Mabel.
The most recent Congress in Washington that we've seen has been the most hostile Congress to the environment ever in the history of the country. That's how bad it's been getting. We need to make sure that Connecticut sends people to Washington who are going to be very strong supporters of the environment to counter what we see going on in many of the other states. And we've been very successful in doing that. The League of Conservation Voters does a scorecard on senators and congresspeople in Washington. The Connecticut delegation consistently has had among the highest scorecard scores of any state delegation in the country. We do exceptionally well here, and one of the reasons why is because we send people like Jim to Washington. The 35 votes that the League of Conservation Voters put on their scorecard for the 2011 Congress, 28 of the 35 were proposals that were against the environment. Usually we spend most of our time proposing stuff that are good for the environment and a little bit of time playing defense. In Washington, most of it is defense. So that's why we need Jim Himes in Congress. So the Sierra Club is more than pleased to announce a renewal of our endorsement of Jim. We've been consistent in our endorsement for him in the past. We appreciate what he's done in Washington, and therefore we are announcing that we are sentencing him to another term. We need him to go back there.
Well, Marty, thank you. I'm touched and moved by the endorsement of the Sierra Club. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here with Senator Duff, who has fought these fights in Hartford. And I'm also happy to be joined by a couple of great candidates, Ted Hofstadter, Kate Tepper, and Mark Robbins, running for office. And I know when they're elected, they'll be champions for the environment in Hartford. This is terribly important stuff we're talking about in so many different ways. It's not just the health of our children, and I'm joined by my daughter here today, which is at stake when the Republicans, in the guise of deregulation, they tell you about these job-killing regulations. That sounds scary. First of all, there's almost no evidence out there that environmental regulations are contributing meaningfully to economic problems in this country. Secondly, when you hear job-killing regulations, think this: more mercury, poison, and pollution in the water behind us, more poison and pollution in the air that we breathe, the ability of industrial polluters to just fill our environment with things that will damage our health and the health of our children. That is what is at stake. By the way, it's not just people. Right across this body of water, we've got a shell fishing operation that takes oysters out of the Long Island Sound and provides a lot of economic vitality to the city of Norwalk. All up and down here, we've got industries that depend on a clean Long Island Sound. It is too bad. It makes me very sad that this has become such a partisan issue, but it has, because the Republicans have declared war on the environment. It doesn't need to be that way. I can think of no more conservative a principle, but that we have an obligation to be good stewards of this great natural heritage that we have been handed, that we pass it on to our children in as good or better shape than we received it. That's a conservative idea, consistent with Teddy Roosevelt and the national parks, Richard Nixon, who created the EPA, who signed the Clean Water and the Clean Air Act. Today, the Republican Party, unfortunately, has left its roots, unmoored itself, and has declared war on the air we breathe and the water that we and our children drink. It is disheartening, frankly, to go into the House of Representatives every single day when we're in session and wonder what new terrible idea is on the floor to allow coal companies to destroy the habitat in West Virginia, to allow industry to fill this water behind us with garbage and pollution and whatnot. And so it has been one heck of a game of defense. But this is important. It's our health, it's our economic vitality, and it's just the right thing to do, to be stewards of this God-given inheritance that has been given to all of us. Just enormously thankful and proud to have the backing of the Sierra Club, to be standing here with these other environmental champions. It will get better. We got to keep fighting. We're on the side of the right on this one, and I just want to say thank you all for your confidence and your support.